really not sure I agree with people when they say, the Catholic Church is falling apart, because really when you look at it around the world, the numbers are still there. We still have a strong church in the world. I think Pope Francis has been a wonderful part of making that move into the current times. And I think we're still alive as a church and a faith.
Welcome to Open Seat, the podcast where we create a space for authentic conversations about faith, unfiltered and unapologetic. Here, we believe that every story matters. Whether you're questioning, seeking, or steadfast in your beliefs, you'll find something relatable in these heartfelt discussions. So grab your seat, get comfortable, and let's dive into today's story here at Open Seat. So today in the Open Seat, we have Katee Francies joining us. We're so grateful you're going to be here with us today.
You're welcome.
So tell us a little bit about you.
I'm a senior citizen.
We're not going for age right now.
I moved to Adrian 2019, right before COVID hit, at the age of 70, which was an adventure.
And what brought you to Adrian?
My son lives here, and so he got married, bought a house. And I moved because I thought I would have grandchildren I'd be taken care of immediately, which hasn't happened yet, but soon, when God's time.
Yeah, because Adrian's not like a destination location.
But it's been good.
Yeah.
I've enjoyed living in Adrian.
Yeah, I hear that all the time. Like, I didn't expect to get what I got out of living here. Mm-hmm.
Right. I've had more fun here than, of course, I've also been retired, so, there's more time to have fun.
So where are you originally from?
Lake Orion. And then I lived in Oxford before I moved here, so, 3 miles apart. But I have lived all over with my husband, but 35 years in Oxford before I came here.
Military family? Or?
No, worked for Montgomery Wards.
Oh, okay.
Got transferred.
There's that. So you have one son and a husband?
I'm a widow. I have a son who is 41. I have a daughter who would have been 53. She died when she was 36, so she's been passed since 2009. And so, just Kevin.
Oh, well,
Not just Kevin.
Kevin's a pretty big deal if you pack up and move.
Kevin's a big deal.
Hope Kevin appreciates the shout out on the podcast.
Of course he does.
And you telling his age.
Oh, he doesn't care.
So, what did you do for a career?
I'm a psychologist, a master's level. I'm also an addiction specialist. I like working with alcoholics and drug addicts and general mental health issues for adults.
Yeah, that's something I don't hear every day. So you retired from there, and now what are you doing?
I retired officially, and I transferred all my patients, and I moved here to take care of babies. And then COVID hit a couple months after. And so then I started getting calls from my patients saying, remember that therapist you referred me to? Their office shut down. Yeah. So then I recreated a career into telehealth. So now I just see 5 to 10 patients a week, and I do it online. So I don't take new people. I just see my old folks, and saved my life during COVID, and I was helpful to other people.
So how does your faith play a part in that?
When you're doing therapy, you really can't, unless you're a Christian therapist who says that, you're kind of confined by insurance companies. So you have to stay fairly neutral religiously. But my faith has kept me with some moral grounds, I think, and some parameters, and some lines I don't cross, and some ways to help other people have hope just because of who I am. So I'm pretty optimistic, and I try to find positives, and so that thing comes from my faith.
So you've lost a child. I'm assuming your faith played a big instrument, and your husband.
Yes. Because my husband died of Alzheimer's, and so he already had his Alzheimer's when my daughter died. So that was a little bit of a challenge, and my faith community came together around me and supported me.
That would have been a challenge, because I'm assuming he'd forget frequently, and then...
He was still pretty verbal at that time, but we were in the funeral home, and Carly was in an open casket, and he sat in front of the casket, and he said, I see Kevin. He said, but where's Carly? I said, well, she died, and she's right in front. He went, okay, yeah, I know she died. And then he said, but Where is she? When is she showing up? So he could not connect things. That was tough.
That would be very difficult. What hobbies do you have?
I like to read. I love to camp. I love to cycle, and I just bought a recumbent bike because I can't get on my two-wheeler anymore because I had knee replacements.
Surgery.
So I have a brand new recumbent that I'm waiting for good weather to get out on the trail in. I'm an old Boy Scout leader, so I was Boy Scout leader for many, many years, and before that I was Girl Scout leader, so I love camping. I love being in the woods. I love the quiet. I love the peacefulness. When you've got kids, you're always finding new things because most of them come out from behind their phones and their whatevers. And, of course, we always made electronics a no-no on camping trips, so they were always discovering new stuff, and it's fun to see it through adolescent eyes.
Or like having them experience God in nature for the first time.
Right. So it's a very spiritual thing.
If you could give someone advice about how to keep their faith during these times, we keep hearing times are hard, things are happening.
I think the same thing that I've always done, and that is asking people to find one good thing a day. One good thing that is positive, one good thing that's hopeful that they can focus on. Like when I finish therapy sessions, I always ask folks, what's one good thing you're taking away from this session today? And I would say the same about a daily life. And of course, that's very faith-filled because you can always find something.
You can. There's always something good in every day.
Yes.
In your faith walk, is there a particular saint that you connect with or a particular prayer?
I am very attached to the Archangel Raphael.
Oh.
Because he's the healing archangel. And I'm also very attached to the Archangel Ariel, who is the patron saint angel of nature and animals. So I named my dog Ariel.
So every day you get reminded of that name.
That's right. I went into meditation when I got this dog and I said, what do I name this dog? And I got the word Ariel. So she's named Ariel. Call her Ariel for short.
And then every day you guys take that time together.
She likes to be outside, so she likes nature.
There we go.
Like any dog.
It's perfect, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you nailed it. What do you think has been something that has led you to a deeper faith?
People. I've been a therapist for, 55 years. So I've met people of every single faith. Because they've talked about their faith in sessions or they've talked about their struggles, it's led me to appreciate my faith more. So my spiritual life has grown from
Listening to others.
listening to other people and how they've found hope.
What one piece of advice would you give people about having hope in the Catholic Church right now? I hear from all different directions. Sure. There's no young people in the church. People aren't Catholic anymore. It's not like it used to be. There's all of these different comments surfacing. In listening to people, what do you hear most that people long for in the church?
Community. It's always community. It's all about connecting with other people. And that's how we find God. I think we have a deep yearning for community. I think it's important. I don't think we're made to be isolated people. So I think the more community that we have, which of course we're doing here at Holy Family well. I was very fortunate to move here and move into a parish that was so life-giving.
What aspects of community do you find appealing here at Holy Family?
Openness and friendliness. I mean, I was welcome, well, once COVID got over.
Yeah, once we stopped at 6 feet in masks, it got a little easier.
I know people are just always willing to sit down and talk. They smile. They'll say hi if you don't know them. People will ask your name. And I just have never felt unwelcome.
It's amazing to me where springs of new life pop up. 3-4 people get together and they decide they're going to go to breakfast on Sunday and it blossoms into 12. And inconsistently. There's a book group about this and all of a sudden 4 or 5 people are talking about this book and then a group forms and then from there, more books are read and more groups are formed. It's incredible to me, yeah.
People are very open, but I think it's because people are thirsting for that. I think they're thirsting for that connection. They're thirsting to be heard. So I think if we hear people, I think it brings people closer to God.
You came not only at a interesting time because of COVID, but also as a parish we were merging.
That's right. It happened just before I got here.
Yeah.
So I came Labor Day of 2019.
So have you noticed a big difference in where things were? I think we're 5 or 6 years post-merger.
Right.
And where we are now.
Yeah, I hear less of people saying, I'm a St. Joe's person or I'm a St. Mary's person. We do this at St. Joe's or we do that at St. Mary's. When I first heard that when I first came here a lot, and I don't notice that anymore.
I mean, having witnessed before and the after, it's amazing to me. And the amount of actually new parishioners we have, who I'm constantly reminding people, we have so many new people that the old is fading away and the new is coming in.
I don't know any different.
There's a lot of people who say that. I don't know what you're talking about because we're here now. And so that again is that new life that's just powerful. What else would you like people to know about you?
I like to laugh. I love adventures. I love to be active, doing things in the community. I don't like to sit home and just twiddle my thumbs. I will be on the go all the time. I just like to have fun.
You like to sing, right? Because you're in the choir?
Yeah, I'm in the choir. I'm volunteering tonight at Croswell because I'm an usher. So, I like to stay busy.
So we should just really look for your car and not you.
Correct.
Okay. If it's in the parking lot, then we're safe. Yeah, Katie's here. The rumor is you make incredible dinners and bread.
When COVID happened, and because I wasn't working for 55 hours a week, I got more chance to play with cooking. I've always cooked, but I got to play more more with bread. And there's a whole lot more potlucks here than I had in my old parish. So there's always something you have to take a dish to.
That is one thing that I think we could be called the party parish. I think sometimes we party just to party. And that community aspect is very important to that.
Well, my old parish had 3,000 families, so it was huge. And I knew a lot of, because I was married there. I went to grade school there. I was baptized there. So I knew a lot of people, but I was also working full time. So I was not able to partake in as many probably parties as there were. I'm able to now. I enjoy every single one of them because I usually meet somebody new.
Yeah, there is always new people coming. It is a beautiful thing.
And even if they're old parishioners, not old, but former parishioners or parishioners have been here a long time, they're new to me. So I will often sit down next to people I don't know just so I can find out who they are.
And I keep reminding people, there's all these new people. We get roughly maybe 10 or so new parishioners every couple months. And that's huge right now in the Catholic Church.
I'm on the welcoming committee. So.
Yes, the welcoming committee. So let me just ask you this, because we get asked all the time. So what's the process of welcoming new parishioners?
Well, we get the paperwork, maybe not as quickly as I would like to see because sometimes they're months old. And I think if we could speed that process up, people would feel more welcome. And then I try to connect. We get assigned people. I try to connect and meet with them either at coffee or donuts. I used to try to call and leave a message, but I've got a 248 number, so people go, scam call. Now I send emails. With the title, Hello from Holy Family Welcoming Committee. I still don't get a lot of response, but I just think that's kind of, people are really busy. But every once in a while, somebody will respond, and then we sit down and we talk about what's going on at the parish and give them a coffee cup and
yes, the
and
coffee
introduce
cup.
them to people. And so that's the welcoming.
And so does that relationship continue beyond that initial welcoming, or?
I see them at Mass.
We get that question all the time. When we did the hot seat, there were, how do I become a new parishioner? What do I do? And the welcoming committee, I think, is the bane of all existence in the church. How do you welcome people? How do you make them feel part of the greater community? Especially because you have people who are brand new and then people who have been stalwarts, I like to call them, in the churches. So some go out of their way to welcome people. Some just don't even know we have new people.
Some people are shy. Some people are afraid of making a mistake. Some people are naturally reticent. That's not me. I'm quiet sometimes because I'm a listener, but I'm not shy.
Really, anybody who needs to be welcomed, we're going to send them in your direction.
That's fine.
What do you think is the greatest gift Holy Family has to offer people?
I still got to go back to community.
That's everything for you.
I think it's everything. I think that interaction between people, and of course we have the best priest in the world, and he is a big part of that community. I mean, he is so dedicated.
Yeah.
Without, I think it's a Salesian thing too. I think Salesians are more community oriented.
It helps that he can be very outgoing and dramatic. So he does interact with people very well. And I think that does help the community grow a lot. He's brought some new ideas. Mass on the grass.
Sure, my favorite.
I think it's everyone's favorite in the
I've
summer.
missed very few Mass on the grass. I love that idea.
And again, it's community.
Exactly.
It's that whole thing of community and a public witness.
Right.
So, yeah, he's very good at bringing that stuff together. But you're right. I think some of that is oblate abilities. Because we have Father Tom here, too, as well. And Father Tom is really outgoing.
Yeah, that's that same kind of, I think the Salesians perhaps attract that kind of personality. And of course, it's part of their formation, too, I believe.
I don't think Father Tom's ever met a stranger. I mean, if you hang out with him, everybody's his friend by the end of the day.
I like that about him.
No, it's a great thing, and I think he adds a lot to the community as well.
Absolutely.
In his own ways, yeah. It's been so great to hear your perspective on community and how it's vital, not only in our parish, but in the church in general.
Absolutely.
And the world, really.
And I'm really not sure I agree with people when they say, the Catholic Church is falling apart, because really when you look at it around the world, the numbers are still there. Maybe they're not I'm Irish. So in Irish families, you always had to have a nun and a priest, right? That was part of the deal. I don't think that happens anymore, but on the other hand, we still have a strong church in the world. I think Pope Francis has been a wonderful part of making that move into the current times. And I think we're still alive as a church and a faith.
One of the things that I've been reading a lot lately, and Father Greg Boyle touches on this, is numbers has become our new idolatry. And we care less about people and Christ, and we care more about how many people come in the door.
And of course, that's not true.
But, sheer numbers are down because of birth rates. So you're not going to have...
And sheer numbers are down in every church.
Yes.
So when you put it against other religions, there's not that much
Yeah, difference. And as long as we continue to build community, I think you're right. That's a big aspect of how things are. I thank you for your wisdom on community. I really do. Because it's a undervalued thing, I think, sometimes. You know, when people talk about the faith, you hear about all the central tenets usually, but community doesn't come up in a lot of conversation.
Really?
I know, actually, one of the people who's been instrumental in the big community building here is Bill Reardon. Because he's just underground trying to build it in all different aspects of the faith, from the rosary to breakfast to mass. When he talks of his visions of daily mass, it's amazing. And I used to think, oh, there's no way we're going to get there, Bill, but good. I'm glad you have a dream. And now there's consistently like 25, 30 people showing up to daily mass. So his vision could come true.
That would not be me. I worked 12-hour shifts for too many years to get up early. Sorry, God.
Well, thank you so much, Katee, and
You're welcome.
We appreciate you joining us on the Open Seat today. Once again, we thank you for joining us today. We hope that wherever you find an open seat in your life, you will invite someone to join you.